Chris, welcome back to the shed. This is Flattankjourney. Sorry I've been a bit haphazard in the last couple of weeks, or last 3 or 4 weeks. It's been a little bit hard work, and things slow down. This bit of the project I always find really quickly. Getting it up on its wheels, you're excited, you get guards, you've got boards, you've got things happening. Once it looks like a motorbike, it gets a little bit harder. Just the way it is. Listen, at the end of the episode, you're going to see me battling away with these footboards. But they're almost finished. I've tidied up in here. I've moved them backwards and up. And I've tidied up the front as well. But I only did the front today, so you'll probably miss that bit. But they look super. Later in the episode. In the meantime, though, I've got a few things. Got the left-handed threaded nut from the Raleigh and Early Reliant Club in the UK. If you're looking for Raleigh parts, or Early Reliant for that matter, join the club in the UK. It's not really dear. They're a super responsive parts guy. Have a crack. It's worth the money. They were very helpful. Anyway, got that nut. I'm going to try that in a minute. And then I bought some grips and a throttle for the wedge deck. Now, yes, it's not the right throttle. It should have probably had a straight pull. I don't think it would have been a lever, but straight pulls are about $400 or $500 from Motomania in Europe, and I didn't really want to do that, so I bought some stuff locally. Going to get those on first, see how the beezer looks, and then we'll push on, have a look at the Raleigh, and then we'll do full circle, come back to the Velocette. I bought a little throttle. Now it's a later one. It's 50s, 60s, whatever. Maybe later. And it's certainly brand new. It's chrome, sadly, and I don't really want to do the whole nickel plating thing. Sadly, they put, the manufacturers choose to make the bolts in them Allen keyed. And whilst that's super good and easy to put on and everybody's happy, sort of, I'm not, because it looks unauthentic. Now, it already is unauthentic, and then you choose to, do that. So, I don't know. What do I think about it? I actually don't really like it. Let me grab a screwdriver, undo the lever, move the lever a bit, and then we'll get on from there. Now, let's move that around a little bit and move the Pepsi can spacer underneath. Thanks for the support for the people who said they'd done the same sort of thing. And then that's as far as that wants to go because it's hit the curve in the bar. And I suspect the bars could have been cut at some stage. I don't look quite right. The length is not quite right. I've thought that for a while, actually. But nonetheless, I'm going to tilt the cable portion downwards or upwards. Not sure. Let's put it upwards for now. No. I used to be indecisive, but now I'm not so sure. Let's just pop it straight out the bottom there. Then the cable can run down the bottom and we'll end up with a reasonable result. Yeah, it's a pity that they put Allen key heads on them. And this might suffer the same as the levers. It might not tighten up enough because the bars have been linished down. So that's a bit of a pain in my butt, but nonetheless, I'm going to do that off camera because I'm going to let you look at it because I'm actually pleased with the grips. Truth be told, I'm pleased with the throttle as well. Now they're 7/8 grips and it's a 7/8 throttle, so that's just going to slide on. I hope it's just going to slide on. I'll bring it back when I've got this on. That's been a bit of a pig. Right, that's gone okay. Got a bit hot and bothered. You know what I'm like. But That's going to fit good, and I'm just going to slide that back, and the lever's going to fit good too. When I feel more inclined, I am going to put a bit of aluminium can under that where it clamps, and I will trim the rubber back or pull the rubber back just a little bit because it's just touching the back of the throttle and it's just making it a little bit hard to turn. Other side, not complicated. Let's hope it fits good, and it does. And there it goes, and that feels pretty good. I will get you off the tripod in a second and I'll show you these. Now I'll just pull that back a little bit and just down a little bit. And they look good. They're not original. They're called Coke bottle, and they're more of a retro-y 50s style. But they're a satin black rubber, they're soft on your hand. They look about right. I like them. Come and have a look. A little bit of glare off the chrome just there. Bit of a shame, but you get the picture. That's the throttle and the grip, and that's the sort of image you're going to see. Now you can see the difference between the chrome and the nickel. The chrome, which has got a chromey look, and the nickel, almost a golden look. Might have to get them changed. Here's the other side, and they look about the same, give or take a bit. And the grip, and you can see that the grip, I don't know, I think it's got a classic look to it. That Coke bottle, or that feminine shape, as they describe it, narrow, wider, and wider, looks pretty good. I like it. Nut, and it goes on here, I hope. And I'm hoping, this is the first time I've tried it, that it'll just screw on. I actually believe that the flower could need to come off and it could need filed, because the chances of these threads being in good condition are really low. Let me faff about with this for a minute. It's awfully hard to tell whether you're in the right place or not. The threads are caked a bit. I'm going to just get a pick and spend a little time picking away at these threads. I actually haven't been gone long. I just sat there with a pick or a scriber and ran the threads around, and that's actually doing up really well. The last thing I wanted to do was cross thread that nut onto there. I'm just running out of hands. For now, I'm not going to just tighten that to Bellio. I'm not unhappy with it. Change a bit loose. This might give me a chance to start experimenting with the gearbox. Now that the sprocket is not going to wind off, we're going to be able to knock the bike into gear and get the whole thing to turn over. And the bike will turn over. I think I've got the plug out. I'm not sure. Yeah, I have. So let's spin the whole lot around the other way and have another look. So that's definitely neutral. We should have a gear here. We have a gear there. No go down, we should be able to knock back into neutral. I don't know where neutral is. There's neutral. And we should have a gear at the bottom of it, of the range. So we have a gear there. Potentially a false neutral, not sure. A gear. So this is what's going to be required. I'm going to have to faff about with this. I might even contact Simon in the UK from the Raleigh and Reliant Club. Don't forget that name. If you're working on a rally, join the damn club. Well worth the, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 pounds, whatever it was. No money for what you get. I'm going to have to spend a bit of time sorting that changer out, and where the neutral's meant to be, we certainly have neutral, and we certainly have gears. Hallelujah. That's been a long time coming. To get that to actually turn over in gear has taken me 3 or 4 months. That's a result. I'm pleased. That's as much as I'm going to do the rally on camera. I'm going to try and sort this gearbox out off camera because it's fiddly, pain in the bum, and I'm probably going to swear a bit while I try and sort it out. It's all good though. To get to this point, I'm thrilled. I am really thrilled because at stages I didn't think I was going to get there. To get it to this point where it turns over, it'll go into gear, it'll come out of gear, it's got a neutral, certainly got at least 2 gears, and Simon thinks it should actually have 3, but I'm no gearbox person. I'm really thrilled. Let's move on. Let's move on to the footboards on the Velocette. It's a little bit dry maybe, see what you think, and then we'll close the video out. Here's the plan. This is the bar I made for the back of the footboard, and here's where it went through. Now, I really need to move that hole up and back, and I don't have any 100mm plate, not surprisingly, so I welded it together. Now, I actually did a pretty fair job. I dressed all the edges first, and it's still a little bit hot to touch, but it's actually welded up pretty good, and I'm not unhappy with it. So here's the second one, and I got brave and decided I would start into that while the first one cooled, because I have a habit of burning myself. So here it is. I'm going to weld that onto there. Well, I'm going to measure it first, and I'm going to cut it shorter, obviously. Then I'm going to put it back on the bike and measure it up for footrest. Now, weirdly, also behind the footrest mount, and I've found this out in the last couple of days. So if the footrest hole is about there, behind it is another mount hole, and I think that might be for the brake pedal. So that's why I've left that a little bit long. And yes, it all still looks really agricultural, but I'm going to have a crack into that too. Right, I've taken the sharp edges off those with the grinder. I'm going to put them back on the bike and then we'll have a look, eh? Down here at the bike. I think I've actually missed this. Oh, maybe not. It's awfully hard to tell because you can't put the whole thing through at once with the extra steel on it. So you're sort of guessing. But I've got the footrest pulled back, which is what I wanted. And I've got the footrest pulled up, which is what I wanted. I just want it like that. So that's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to mark the top of where I think the hole is. And I'm going to, I don't know, I suppose I'm going to guesstimate and hope for the best. Well, I'm not going to guesstimate. I'm going to do a little bit better than that. What's Puddin say from Puddin's Fab Shop? I'm going to eagle eye it or something. And so I'm guessing a straight line about there. Now the confusing bit is that it all sits on an angle. It sits like that. Yeah, like that. And so you end up with it in a funny place. Rightio. Fortune favours the brave, I think. And I want to see what I think of this. I'll pull it up to about there. We certainly want the footrest up higher, and yeah, let me drill a hole. Hope for the best. Wasn't super difficult. I've drilled both of them. How far did I move the hole? Well, centre to centre, I've moved it about 30 mil. Yeah, just over. So, inch and a quarter, maybe. Well, again, it wasn't precise. Maybe I should be more precise. Don't know. I'll put this on. I'm a bit enthusiastic. Don't think I'll fuss with all of the hardware for a minute. I just want to get some nuts on and see if I can hold everything into place. I'll bring you in and give you a look when I get this on. Yep, I like that a lot more. It's more true to what I think it looked like coming out of the factory. It's got a sweeping bracket that comes down here at the back, and I can do that. Now at the front, yeah, it's dropped down, but the original footrests they have a big curled up nose on them. And you know, I've got that curled up by 45 mil. Now I don't know whether it's that big or not, but I think that I'm much closer to the height the footboards might sit at than what they were before. Let's have a closer look. Here we go. So instead of this being pushed right forward, we're down, well, we're off 180 straight down, 180 degrees or 6 o'clock. We're more at like 5:15. Not too bad. I don't mind it. Down here, we're actually below the centre line of those two. And I feel as though I'm in a better place. I feel as though I've got just enough room, I mean just enough, to put the brake pedal mount there. And I think that's what it is. Just happened somebody's got one for sale on Facebook, and they had a photo that showed this. Now I think bolts through here would be better. In fact, I might clean all these up and make bolts out of them by welding the nuts on. I don't have 3/8 cycle thread bolts that are that long. Not sure. I think that's the least of my worries for now. Now, I'm going to put you down and I'm going to get on to dressing these up and trying to make these look a little bit prettier than they are, but still leaving this quite long. I've been working away pretty solidly for a couple of hours, working on these brackets. Welded a bit on the side, drilled the hole, welded a bit into this corner to give it a bit more strength. This has got to hold the footboard after all. And I've done the other side. Now they're a little bit hot and my grinder batteries are dead flat. I'm going to knock the edges off with a file so that I don't slice myself, and then I'm going to put them on the bike. Don't forget, I've left this piece long to look at the brake pedal. So this piece looks a little bit better and kind of resembles the image I've got. Kind of, I emphasise the kind of. Mounted the bracket on this far side and I'm just sliding the rod through, and now I'm going to mount the bracket on the throttle side. So here's the bracket. Let's see if we can let you see. And for some reason it doesn't want to fit. I'd say the motor has just sat down here. I've got 3 of them in. That'll do for now. I'll fight with it in a minute. Didn't take long or a very big smack. It was in fact just the motor has sat down a little bit because it was, don't forget, the motor was only suspended at the front while I had all this bracket off. So I've literally been gone about 20 seconds, and now I'm going to subject you to just watching me tighten these up a little bit, and then we'll attempt to slide it all through. I can't wait any longer. I've got to see how it looks. That looks much better. Looks much better. Yep, I like it more. So I've hit my line. As far as I was concerned, I wanted to be about the line of the bottom of the engine. And when you put a rule on it, it sits on the bottom of the line. These things, well, they still look agricultural to me. However, you know, they are what they are. I need to get the nuts now in the right place for these shafts, and I need to cut extra thread and just get them completely tightened up so we can have a good look at them. They look super as far as I'm concerned, and you know, at this point I would say I'm very happy with them. Or happier than I was. I also think when my grinder batteries have recovered, finesse a little more shape, and when I get the brake pedal mount in, because I think that goes there, and I do something about the front, then I think we're going to be really close to being right. I'll bring you back when I've done a bit more. This is a good result. I'm excited. Much better angle. My grinder batteries are both dead flat, and it's hot, and I've kind of had enough for one day. I'm more pleased with the rear bracket. The nuts and the springies and the flat washers all make it look a little bit untidy, maybe. The front I haven't touched, But I have tightened it all up. I've shortened these and cut a thread on one and tightened them up. And we end up with very rigidly mounted footboards. They're on a better angle. It might not look much to you, but it does to me. It looks better. And I suppose, you know, it's my opinion that counts. The bracket at the back, still a bit clumsy. I wonder if some speed holes, or one biggish speed hole in it, might make a difference, meaning putting a hole in it like it was a gusset. The front, well, I'll dog bone that and make it look as good as I can. But one of you, and you know, forgive me for forgetting which one of you, also suggested that there's a P.O.Box, there's a silencer to mount somewhere. And it probably should be just in front of the mounting hole for the footrest. So I need to have a little bit of a think about that, and maybe I'm better off to leave it alone. Looking at it as we go around, you can see the footboards sit comfortably away from the engine. We won't have an exhaust problem. The exhaust will run either straight out of the P.O.Box or some sort of tailpipe, but we're not going to have a problem. Across the other side here, a little bit dark, but we're well away from the flywheel. Perhaps a little more away from the centre of the frame than the other side. I personally think that's a good thing, and it will give a better result. I probably need to replace the spacer in the middle here. It's sitting a little bit loose and could probably be 2 or 3 mil wider so that we get a better result. Rest now for a couple of days and then have another go. There you go. That's my journey for another week. In fact, that's my journey for about 2 or 3 weeks. I've been slugging away at it, doing a little bit, but I've had a fair bit to do. Got a few family things going on and got a few work things going on, helping a mate out. So that's all good. Hope you're enjoying your shed, your project. Send me a message, get in touch, hit the subscribe button. It's all good. Cheers. Have a good one.